Hi guys, thought I'd do a weekly update. I'm out and about in Torrevieja. My son's gone into the dentist today, so he'll be extracting some money from me later. One of the things, we do have a dentist insurance, but it only covers half. But I actually find it works out a bit cheaper than that because they seem to have better rates. So it costs, I think it's about 170 euros a year for two people, which ain't too bad. So we're just going to work our way out. It'll just let you know how tight some of these roads are, especially when people leave their wheels sticking out. So what's been happening this week? Oh, I finally got my fine from Madrid, which was quite comical. What you may not know is my mother-in-law was being a bit ill when we picked her up from the airport. So what I did is basically pulled into the nearest park and let her get a bit of fresh air. But the thing is, I didn't realise it was in a parking zone. By the time I basically found the parking meter, which was miles away, and then come back to the car, it already had a a ticket. But they didn't give you a ticket with information on it, like a telephone number or where to pay or anything like that. It was just a little, almost like a receipt. And then I had to email them myself because I had to say, well, hang on, how do I pay this? And I found something online. And they said, oh, just wait for the letter to come through. Well, it was a month. So I emailed them a couple of days ago and said, hang on a minute, I need to pay his parking ticket. But you say within 20 days of this letter. I said, but you haven't sent me the letter. So they said, this is on, I think it was on Wednesday. They said, yeah, you'll need to pay it by Tuesday. So, okay, fine. Then the letter come through, and the letter is actually a lot further. I think it's another 2 or 3 weeks away because of the delay that the postal service is taking in delivering anything. But I got it paid, half empty or half full. Well, if I'd left it, it'd have been 90 euros. Paying it on time or early is 45. You can contest it, and I may actually still try and contest it anyway, simply because it was one of those situations where there's no signpost telling you that it was a parking zone. There was nothing sort of highlighted. It was also on a Saturday as well, because I know some people have been caught out with that, with it being the weekend, that they thought it was free parking. So it's not just me, it's some other people have been caught out with it as well, and it's not so clear. And some of the times you do actually park in the places, then go and find the signage if you're lucky, or at the meter, to try and find out what you actually need to be paying and when you need to be paying it. But anyway, got that sorted. One of those things in life, a bit like dentist bills. Work-wise, Denise went through my CV and did a load of work on it. Denise used to work in HR, so she's done a load of nice, good work on my CV for me. I've got to admit, my CV is normally about 18 pages, but I haven't had to ever edit it because I just give it to the agents, and then the agents do it for me, because I'm normally headhunted. I don't normally look for a job, but because of my Spanish ability, I've actually got to look for work this time. So I've now got the English version sorted. I'm going to put 2 versions together, one for the engineering type stuff and another one for just day-to-day type work, whatever is available. So that's where that is at the moment. Applied for a load of jobs through LinkedIn. Haven't had anything come back yet, but I know some people that have got similar sort of background and qualifications struggle to get a job in Spain. Not sure why, and I'm not going to sort of jump to any conclusions, but we'll wait and see. Because I mean, a lot of these jobs are in demand in the sense that there isn't many people that do them. So I should at least get a bite, but we'll wait and see. What else has been going on? So I got that. I've got the computer to reprogram the car. I'm going to do that. I was going to do that today, but I actually went out and met somebody today. There's got a restaurant here. Went to look at an apartment because there's been a couple of people asked me, can I find an apartment to rent? Well, one come up today, which will be available in October, but there was a few bits of politics with it, so I'm sort of going to try and mediate some of the issues around it. Basically there's no contract on it, hasn't been a contract on it for over a decade, and there's just a couple of little issues between the person who's renting it and the now owner, which is the son of the previous owner. But at the same time, it's a case of the person who owns it hasn't done anything in a decade, and there's some sort of stuff that needs to be sorted out, but they want everything their own way. But because there's no contract, there's no liabilities, because nobody bothered to do their job. One of the reasons you get somebody like myself to manage your property, because I make sure all that's done. The same when you get your electric and water bills. If you've got a property, what we do is we go and see the tenant and get the bills off them and get the money off them and go and pay your bills for you, so you're never stuck with a load of bills, because we make sure they're paid on time. But in this case, the guy basically did nothing with the property, didn't engage with the tenant, didn't do nothing for a decade. But anyway, that's one of the little tasks of the day. A couple of people have asked me about renovation stuff. Yes, we'll do the renovations, and today we picked up one to move an two aircon units, running off one condenser. So that's one of the jobs for today, is actually moving that aircon unit around. But that's another thing relating to tenants, where the owners of the property don't want to keep the aircon because it's owned by the tenant, but the tenant actually wants to just sell it or whatever to the owners, but they would rather pay for another aircon unit when there's already one in perfect condition already there. But never mind. What else have I been up to? Spanish wise, my Spanish is actually getting there, and this is the thing, and I want to just say, from somebody who's actually learning Spanish from sort of like, I would say from scratch, to be fair, you'll get it come on in bits and pieces. Don't expect to be conversational straight away. You know, it's things like también, tampoco. You pick up a lot of vocabulary, then it just starts to form. So when you're getting somebody, you know, ask you something para mí or something like that, you start to see the sentence structure appear. You know, you start to understand what people are saying, even if it's in bits. So, you know, for example, you may get somebody ask you the time. Well, you may not understand the rest of it, but you'll understand time. So, for example, say somebody, what time do you leave work, or what time, you may just pick up the what time. But the thing is, you know what they're talking about. I like half there. It's I suppose that's that Spanglish thing, where you're sort of half in and half out, as things start to develop. But it's getting there, and I'm quite happy that that's happening, because it means that it's being absorbed. And I think Duolingo now says I'm up to sorry, not Duolingo, Memrise is saying I'm up to 1,000 words now, which is good. So I'm quite happy with that. But I still think it's going to take me a few months to get to a point where the conversational is getting easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, what I'm finding with Memrise is I'm actually being able to decipher a lot of stuff. And the one thing that I do recommend if you're using something like Memrise is it gives you 4 options. Now, because I've got quite a good memory, when I look at something, what happens is I automatically will know what it is without thinking about it. So what I've tried to do is actually just close my eyes when it actually says something, or don't look at it. You know, if it's on the screen where it's just got the phrase it's asking for to be translated or whatever, just turn around and take the phrase. Don't look at the multiple choice answers. Think about it first, then think, okay, it should be this, like yo también or something, and then look at the answers, because you'll find that because you're being forced to think about it first, you're not going multiple choice. And I find that it's much easier to absorb it that way, because it's quicker to absorb it that way, because you're having to engage the brain a little bit more, and that's working quite well. What else has been going on? yeah, things are progressing. Hopefully, I have the what do you call it? The fibre optic in next week. I'm expecting Tuesday, Wednesday. They haven't contacted me yet, but it's Friday, so they should contact me Monday. It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, because that's the 10 days they said it would be. But I've been in Spain long enough to know how long 10 days is. It could be another week. But once we get that, I can do live chats and things, which I know somebody's actually asked me today about it in one of the messengers. The expat services stuff I'm working on as well. To be honest, this week is my sort of last holiday week, because I've tried to do as little as possible, which for me is near impossible, because I have got this real bad tendency to keep busy. It's like today, went and seen somebody. This opened a restaurant here in La Mata. It's a bakery, does pizza, small calf, got a bar and that in there. And I just started chatting with the guy, and today I've then went and put him on Facebook, set up his Facebook page, set him up on Google, set him up on TripAdvisor, because a lot of people don't understand that the majority of people here are tourists. I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, but you're going to get the majority of business from people that wouldn't know you're there. So you've got to turn around and put yourself out there saying, hey, we do fresh bread every day. Hey, we do fresh pizza every day. It's organic ingredients. It's this, it's that. And you've really got to work at it, because all the other restaurants are. So nobody's going to help you on that front. Well, except for me, obviously. But you'll find you're competing against a lot of other businesses that I've already clocked onto that. I've got to admit, I've listed a few businesses in this area onto Google and stuff while I've been sat there, because they haven't done it themselves. But at the same time, it's where you'll get the majority of business come through, to be honest, unless they know you're already there. Because a lot of these places, you're going along a restaurant front and there could be 20 restaurants. What's making yours stand out? Well, maybe because yours is on Google with about 50 photos and 20 reviews, because they instantly go, oh, they do this, they do that, before they even get through the door. And that's one of the things you've got to look at, is how do you get yourself ahead. That's the other thing. I've been looking at a few other businesses to do. I've got to admit, I've got to get some cash flow moving again quickly. I've got enough for a few months, but ultimately I'm thinking if I can get some cash flow going, I can invest in some other ventures, because there's a market for certain things. And obviously I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I've seen this gap in the market, because as soon as I do that, somebody goes, yeah, that's a good idea, Matt, I'll copy that. So there's a few things I've seen which are ideal for setting up here. So I'm looking into a lot of different things as well. But it's been a good 2 weeks. Relaxing a bit, and obviously today off at the dentist, but I'm going to go and do a video along the beach today, since it's a bit of windy, but it looks quite nice. I'm going to avoid the top end. Might disappoint some of you guys because there's a few topless people up there. I'll be doing it more this end. Anyway, thanks for watching.